The COVID-19 pandemic did not just ravage human lives across the globe, it also affected the global economy, religious and social gatherings, as well as hindered the smooth running of day-to-day activities, businesses, offices, churches, and even the hustling and bustling of life remained closed to help prevent the transmission of COVID-19. Despite the biting emergence of the deadly coronavirus, the Akwa State Roads and Other Infrastructure Maintenance Agency, Akrima, still had its mandate to ensure potholes-free roads across the state. This is because the existence of the COVID-19 pandemic did not take away the fact that there were sprouting potholes and failed portions of road in the state. To this end, the agency set out to fulfill on its mandate of filling potholes and repairing of badly damaged portions of road within the state capital. At Idoro Road by Pepsi Junction through Ibom to Abak, Akrima began massive rehabilitation of the road, which served as a diversion from Ikoro Junction, which is under construction, to Abak local government area. The deplorable state of the road, which was virtually inaccessible to motorists and pedestrians, now wears a new look, courtesy of Akrima. Today, Abak local government can be accessed through Idoro Road by Pepsi Junction in a couple of minutes. In its efforts to ensure that its mandate was carried out without being deterred by the novel COVID-19 pandemic, Akrima made available some automated hands-free hand-washing machines to promote hand washing, which is one of the safety measures to combat the spread of the pandemic.
We have come up today with this, an equipment, a device that can help you wash your hands without your hand having a contact with any of the apparatus. There will be soap here. Soap will be here. Sanitizer will be here in this container. All you need to do is to use your leg and then press this, and the water will come out. And you wash your hand. You wash your hand. And after washing your hand, all you need to do is to let go your leg, and the water will stop. If this becomes what is applicable everywhere in Akwa, then after you wash your hand, you will have no contact again with any device or instrument or any component, any metal that can really infect you, having washed your hand.
The chairman of Akrima, Prince Godwin Ntogude, PhD, while bearing his mind on the level of interventions carried out by the agency, assured that the novel COVID-19 pandemic would not be a setback to the agency's task of ensuring Operation Zero potholes on roads within the state to provide comfort to motorists.
We as an agency appointed by the governor with trust and confidence that we will deliver enough of the maintenance exercise expected of the agency to add up to the sustainable development of this administration. Are mindful of time. We are mindful of time. His Excellency has a tenure, and every day that passes, the tenure is getting to an end. And so the pandemic came, yes, it ravaged from March up till today that it has not even really ended. As an agency made of very proactive human beings, chosen out of confidence and trust, we need to immediately go back to the drawing table and redesign our work pattern to suit the time and the season and moment. Yes, there were times when we were not allowed to even come to work, but the potholes were still going on, developing. So we had to apply for a permission and have a document given us that authorized this agency to work within the protocol allowed under COVID-19, that we reduced our workforce and the operators and the hands that we use, and to an extent ensure that they were not crowded. They could, 2-3 persons can do the works of before COVID-19, 7 or 10. And on that note, we had to also preach the gospel of extra courage and patriotism for them to accept to do the works of many more hands, but this time handled by few persons.
He pointed out that as the core responsibility of the agency to ensure adequate maintenance of government infrastructures in Akwa Ibom State, Akrima would not neglect its responsibility.
We are very passionate to ensure that the completion of gender has our signature, our stamp, our seal as part of the completion agenda. We were so excited when we saw the budget presentation and how many pages were dedicated to the works of Akroima. And to whom much is given, much is expected. We have designed to be in charge and on top of the game. We have called in experts. We have given ourselves 3 days workshop to be taught new technology, new solutions to be deployed at times like this, such that we can confront the sprouting potholes and failed portions and maintain the infrastructure needed of us. And that's why with such training we have acquired, with the solutions we have been taught, and we have seen that yes, it does work. We are ready. We have the solution, we have the approach, and we have the capacity, and we are not tired, we are not challenged by rainy season. We have removed the deplorable mess that was experienced on the Idoro Road by Pepsi Junction through Ikoroku Ikono, Uboma back to Ikori in Manta up to Abak local back town. That road was very terrible. But His Excellency directed. We did not look at the fact that this is rainy season. We have the technology to confront it, and I believe God that with what we have done there and the pothole approach, the solution that has been given to us, that we are deploying as exemplified in what we're doing of Waniba Road, that shows that we are ready, and we will continue to be available for all invitations, society's call, complaints from the citizens, and everywhere that our services are required. Indeed, Udom Gabriel Emmanuel must succeed. That is our goal, and we must be part of that completion agenda effectively and comprehensively.
He extolled Governor Dumimano for his selfless commitment in combating COVID-19 pandemic in Akwa Ibom State.
The revenue accruing to the federal government, courtesy of a monolithic economic system, is so terrible. Oil has dropped. Everything has gone down. The mineral solid is not producing any addition. The government is at the federal level. I don't know if they're even exploring the solid minerals enough. So everything is from oil. And the global oil experience is that oil has dropped. The federal revenue dropped, and so is the state revenue. Sometimes when people say Akwa Ibom state government has taken so much, is the lead revenue earner from the federal government. What people fail to realize is that from the time of Akwa His Excellency, to the time of Ibom Victor Tam, to the time of His Excellency Governor Godswill Akwa. Every bilateral agreement, every contractual agreement, every commitment and indebtedness from international loans collected and internal loans collected, all of those considerations, contracts and obligations must be deducted at source. That is one area we don't always look at. Akwa Ibom had, over the years, depended on some loans collected by previous administration, World Bank loans and others. All of those must be deducted once you have the gross. So it is the governor alone who knows the net that comes back to the state. That is where the challenge is.
He also thanked the governor for maintaining his stance in delivering on his campaign promises to the people of Akwa Ibom State through the provision of comfortable motorways for road users.
It's a success even within the COVID-19 era. It's a success even judging his performance during the COVID-19. He has set standard that Nigerians are following. The first person to engage on a permanent isolation center, so functional for future use. We had Ebola. Today we have COVID. Do you know what we will have tomorrow? So those who pitched tents and constructed temporary tents in the stadium, who must pull it out? Where will they be when the next phase comes? Haversack. Always jumpstart. Use and done. But he was the first to engage in. How did he come to that thinking? That is a leader to trust, to believe. Why did he think out of the box and think differently from others and construct such a permanent site that is so functionally available for even students and researchers, PhD students, final year students, in microbiology, in virology, in all aspects of endemic diseases. Why did he do that? That is a leader to trust, who is able to think out of the box. Now you see, within that same time, he was the first to take his budget back to the House of Assembly for a review, to make it, to be guided by a realistic budget, and to be aware that revenue, he knew the revenue would drop, and to be guided always by a functional budget. He immediately had to go to the House of Assembly. Other governors took time to understand before they followed. He set up a think tank that my thoughts were this large, my thoughts were this varied and multi-sectorial. But with the emergence and arrival of COVID, things must change. Revenue is not as much. Time has gone. How will I be guided? He had to go for experts. The gift, the first 11 of Akwa Ibom, in investment, in economics, in international financing, in industrialization, in infrastructure, in human, in personnel. He assembled a think tank of first 11 of Akwa Ibom and asked them to review his programs, his completion agenda, his sustainable development ideas, his vision for Akwa Ibom, and come up with what is realizable, and how will it be spread, so that at the end, Akwa Ibom people from all sectors, from all local government, from all senatorial districts, from all federal constituencies, at least will have a bite of his good governance in terms of infrastructure and deposit of his signature as a governor and a leader that came. For having that kind of a man, for such sectorial success, that's really means that you can go to sleep. You have a man who will always be there thinking of your very best, and when he comes out, you will be the best. Within that still COVID-19 time, an additional flight was procured, and he flew in and had the clearance to come in, making Ibom Air still on the march, growing. That means He did not sleep. Governance did not stop. The roads are still being constructed. The industries are still coming. Many things are coming. So therefore, we can look at His Excellency from transportation, from Ibom deep seaport, from agricultural exploit. Without food, then the human beings cannot even be waiting for development. He's still investing heavily in agriculture. And he's bringing so much technology into that agriculture in terms of very tested seedlings, in terms of the greenhouse experiment, in terms of the new one that is about coming up with all the onions, with all the cucumber and everything that is coming up. Then the rice, the cocoa, the palm, the refinery. So these things, for some lesser minds, they may say, small things. My dear, mustard seeds. If you don't start from mustard seed, 87, who will be there? Then it started from small. Now everybody is seeing that the plane is full. And because it's full, it calls now for addition. But if it was half empty, it will be very discouraging. A time will come that we will know we had a cool-headed man who was not in for applause, but was every day passionate about his people and the challenge of the variance between where we're supposed to be by today and where we are today, and asking the question, why are we so backward, and wanting us to grow further.
Akrima was created by the government of Akwa Ibom State for the purpose of creating and maintaining access roads for the free flow of economic and business transaction within and outside the state. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, His Excellency has continued to deliver on his campaign promises to the people of Akwa Ibom State. This shows that His Excellency Governor Odomimano is not deterred by the novel COVID-19 pandemic. As much as he has addressed so much of administrative policies to combat the pandemic through the construction of isolation center and renovation of medical facilities in the state, as well as distribution of palliatives, he has also ensured that delivering of comfortable motorways in Akwa Ibom State is on course. That is why he recently directed that the deplorable fail portion at Pepsi Junction, which is a diversion that leads to a back local government area, be quickly fixed for road users. And of course, Akman Hoganekmo Street at Shelter Freak, which the agency is currently working on. Ntugide explained.
We are working on Guaniba, we are working on Oron Road, we have walked inside the airport, we have walked almost close to the 5-star hotel, we have eradicated potholes on the speed lane on the 4-lane. We are now going back to the service lane. We have removed the deplorable mess that was experienced on the Idoro Road by Pepsi Junction through Ikoro back to Ikori in Manta up to Abak local back town. That road was very terrible. The contractor who will be excavating the topsoil will arrive there. He must move. If he's doing say 10 meters, he must go down to 15 or 17 meters on those particular spots, and he will discover the clear. Until that clear is dug out, pulled out, then what eats up, what gives that unnecessary heat that comes out to interface with the asphalt that we lay at 80 degrees Celsius will not end. The same thing with Enemsek Road. What we have discovered, road construction without drains is not really a very good work. Any road constructed without attention paid to drains, and the drains and the contractor must agree that the gradient must be well calculated. Anybody who is not scientifically based shouldn't be a road construction contractor, because most of the drains are just being opened as per dig the two sides of the road, use board to board the edges, pour them, and then cement the base line. You cannot concrete the base line without you knowing the simple arithmetic of gradient calculation, which will give you the capacity to flow that drain in such a way that a drop of water will flow. Take a case study of 4-lane, what a mighty drain, dangerously available for accidents and all of that, not covered. At least for all eyes to see, there is drain on 4-lane. But has that drain ever flown? Has water flown there? Any water drop there stays there and becomes manure for weeds and other endemic debris. So drains are very important. Functional drains we are talking about. Any road constructed without attention paid to functional drainage system doesn't work. That's what you see on the Enensen. We had intervened on Enensen. But if you pass through there, you see that there are other spots that potholes have started sprouting up, which we have to go back. And if you look at it, it's either you will look for one side of the bush and at least construct a catch pit. If you cannot create that catch pit for at least diversion of the water into any road, any side of the road by that corner, also avoiding damages to people's farmland. So that's why everywhere we go, we deploy the catch pit solution just to manage diversion of flood and give the road a free way. So the problem is not unconnected with what is underneath, calling for both soil test and drainage system well applied. Road construction engineers businesses must be given to people who can be tested, who can be verified that they know exactly what they're looking for. Otherwise, let us give some of these contractors stationaries to supply rather than give them, no matter even if it is 400 meters intercity road to construct. Because you cannot imagine, before you end up a road, before commissioning, potholes have started, which means that you did not pay attention to what you excavated, what you backfilled, the quantity of your stone, laterite. Sometimes you don't need laterite, you need sharp sand, depending on the environment. You must be patriotic enough to change from laterite and go over to sharp sand. So what is the volume of sharp sand that you apply? What is the volume and thickness of your stone base? What was even the rational ratio of this stone base? Was it 60 to 40? That is the stone versus the dust. Was it 70-30? Depending on the expected pressure and volume of traffic on that road.
As an agency that is poised to deliver an infrastructure maintenance to achieve Governor Emmanuel's completion agenda, comprising of very proactive human beings chosen out of confidence and trust, members of the Akrima board immediately went back to the drawing board and redesigned their work path to suit the time and season. The efforts of Akrima in ensuring infrastructural maintenance even in the face of the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic has received commendations from groups, individuals and organizations. The latest is the applause received from the Civil Liberties Organizations CLO. The CLO team, which is led by Mr. Franklin Isong, commended Akrima for performing and fulfilling its mandate when they embarked on an inspection tour of some ongoing road maintenance projects and other completed projects carried out by Akrima since its inception in 2017. The CLO employed Akrima to extend her tentacles to the rural areas in terms of grading of roads and maintenance of existing ones, while they prayed God to strengthen members of the agency and grant them wisdom in carrying out their duties. In his response, the chairman Akrima, Prince Godwin Tuwude PhD, appreciated the Civil Liberties Organization for finding time to embark on fact-finding tour, stating that the gesture would enhance the group's recommendations to the state government. He promised that Akrima will stop at nothing to ensuring that the agency delivers on the completion agenda of the Dom Emmanuel's administration to the good people of Akwa Ibom State. With Prince Godwin Tuwude on the saddle as chairman of Akrima, there is no doubt that with the development, growth and drive of Governor Dom Emmanuel, Akrima's impact would be felt on so many roads with potholes across the states.